Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into, well, probably the biggest question on everyone's mind right now. How is artificial intelligence actually changing our jobs? We're unpacking PwC's 2026 Global AI Jobs Barometer. They literally analyzed over 1 billion online job ads, and honestly, what they found completely flips the usual doom and gloom narrative on its head. Let's get right into it.
So here's the ultimate puzzle we're looking at. For the last couple of years, we've heard nothing but panic about mass job wipeouts, right? But the actual data shows something wild. A lot of the roles highly exposed to AI are actually experiencing massive growth, both in headcounts and in wages. Think about it. Why on earth would automation actively benefit the exact jobs it's supposed to disrupt?
Well, here is the absolute core of it. AI is creating a two-track labor market. The huge takeaway from this PwC report is that AI doesn't just come in and delete jobs. Instead, it reshapes them, but it pushes them in two completely different directions. And depending on which track your job lands on, your day-to-day work, the skills you need, and your earning potential, they're going to change drastically.
To navigate this massive shift together, we're going to hit 5 quick beats today. First up, the AI job paradox. 2, the 2 futures for jobs. 3, a pretty crazy entry-level plot twist. 4, the human skills earthquake. And finally, exactly how you can win in the AI era.
All right, jumping right into Chapter 1, the AI job paradox. It is officially time to throw out basically everything we assumed about automation.
Check out this totally counterintuitive reality. Greater AI exposure is actually linked to headcount growth, not shrinking. You're probably thinking, how is that even possible? Well, the secret sauce here is reinvention. Instead of just firing people to save a quick buck, the companies really winning with AI are completely rewiring how they work. And this strategy is so incredibly effective that these companies are literally doubling their headcount growth compared to firms that are barely touching AI. They are staffing up, not scaling down.
Let's roll into our second chapter and see exactly how this creates 2 very distinct futures for workers.
Track number 1 is what we call professionalized jobs. This happens when AI swoops in and basically takes over the boring, routine chores of a role. Because the machine is handling all the busy work, the human is elevated. You're freed up and honestly expected to handle the complex, high-judgment stuff that needs deep expertise. Right now, about 22% of jobs globally are cruising on this professionalized track.
On the total opposite end of the spectrum, we've got Track 2, democratized jobs. This is where AI actually takes over the highly specialized, complex expertise. And because the AI is the expert, it drastically lowers the skill barrier for humans to enter the job. So what's left for the human worker? Usually the less demanding, highly physical or routine tasks. Around 52% of jobs are heading down this democratized path.
To really ground this, let's look at a concrete example of both in the real world. Think about an employment recruiter. That's a professionalized role. AI blasts through a mountain of CVs in seconds, which leaves the human recruiter to focus entirely on negotiating the actual contracts, a superhuman-intensive task. But then, look at an inventory clerk on the democratized track. The AI takes over the incredibly complex inventory management system, leaving the human to simply physically move the stock around the warehouse. Exact same technology, 2 wildly different outcomes.
In those different outcomes, they lead to completely different economic realities. Get a load of this gap. Professionalized jobs are seeing a massive 42% higher wage growth compared to democratized ones since 2021. And it's not just the paychecks getting bigger. The actual number of these professionalized jobs is growing twice as fast too. So why such a huge pay gap?
Well, if you look at the data tracking these 2 paths, the complexity and skill demands for professionalized workers are just rocketing upwards, pulling way ahead. Since 2018, professionalized roles have been demanding additional skills at literally twice the rate of democratized roles. We're talking a 68% jump in skill demands compared to just 33%. Basically, to earn that premium pay, professionalized workers are having to constantly, relentlessly level up their capabilities.
Which brings us to Chapter 3, and honestly an absolutely fascinating plot twist happening in the job market right now. What happens to the junior workers?
Okay, we've all heard the panic that entry-level jobs are completely disappearing. And it's true that overall, junior hiring for highly AI-exposed roles has sort of flatlined. 49% of CEOs even say they expect AI to decrease their junior hiring. But wait, if we peel back the layers of this data, we uncover a massive hidden opportunity, because this decline isn't happening uniformly across the board.
I mean, ask yourself, did your very first job out of school require motivational leadership, stakeholder management, or deep mentorship skills? Historically, no way. But because AI is eating up all that entry-level busy work, we are witnessing this crazy phenomenon called seniorization. The most AI-exposed junior jobs, like a junior data analyst, are now evolving to demand deep, traditionally senior capabilities like strategic decision-making and high emotional intelligence right from day one.
And right here is where the divergence happens. Not all junior jobs are shrinking. The entry-level roles that have been seniorized, specifically the ones asking for 10 or more of these heavy-hitting senior skills, are absolutely booming, boasting a 35% growth rate. The bar has simply been raised, and those who can bring senior-level judgment to a junior role are in incredibly high demand right now.
Moving right along to Chapter 4, the human skills earthquake. Because if skills are shifting this wildly at the entry level, what does it mean for the broader workforce?
The pace of change here is just staggering. For jobs most exposed to AI, the skills you need are evolving more than twice as fast as the least exposed ones. And here's the real kicker. When new tasks get added to these AI-heavy roles, those new tasks are 2.5 times more likely to rely on distinctly human abilities. So what exactly are these distinctly human abilities? The report maps this out brilliantly with the EPOC framework. That's E for empathy and emotional intelligence, P for presence and networking, O for opinion and judgment, C for creativity and imagination, and H for hope, vision, and leadership. Honestly, this is the ultimate irony of the whole AI revolution. To win in an age dominated by machines, you don't need to act more like a robot. You actually need to become more intensely, deeply human.
And that leads us perfectly into our final chapter, winning in the AI era. We've seen the raw data, so how do we practically apply this to future-proof our own careers?
Thankfully, the report gives us a highly actionable framework. If you want to analyze your own job's trajectory, you just need to ask yourself 4 key questions. First up, how is AI changing the expertise required? Is it professionalizing your role by doing the basics or democratizing it by taking over the complex stuff? Second, how will this shift the supply and demand for your job? Third, where are AI's limitations? Like, where is human involvement strictly required to manage weird, atypical cases? And finally, fourth, what environmental forces, maybe super strict government regulations or process bottlenecks, actually constrain the use of AI in your specific industry? By understanding those 4 levers, you completely control your own reinvention.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final provocative thought to chew on. As AI aggressively automates all the routine stuff and splits the entire labor market onto these 2 different tracks, are you preparing yourself to be more like a machine, or are you actively cultivating those uniquely human epoch skills? The data is crystal clear on exactly what the market is rewarding. Now it's entirely up to you to adapt. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive into the PwC findings. And as always, keep learning.